he should have been taken out of the event by security.
Well, he tried to, but he said no.
Well, then LAPD failed because that was a assault that happened in front of America. They should have taken him out of the audience and arrested him. Period. Now, there have been some people that defend Will Smith and say, well, he was defending his wife's honor. I have a hard time with that, only because Tiffany Haddish, comedian, ha ha ha, you're not that funny, but you said that it made you feel good that Will Smith stood up and defended his wife's honor. But at the same time, you didn't say that she was wrong when she said she had an open affair with her son's friend. Now, to me, if you're going to assault someone, go assault the guy that slept with your wife. Don't assault the comedian. Assault the guy that slept with your wife.
It was bottled up anger, though. You could tell that he got up there. It was more than just a slap. That's bottled up anger right there. Nobody in their right frame of mind does that. You could yell across the room and disagree. That's one thing. It's another thing to get up, walk over there, smack the guy, sit back down and start screaming.
Bottled up anger. Listen, the Academy Awards, the Oscars, not just the Academy, the Oscars is a setting, and there are rules and guidelines and code of conduct that is associated with it. And in the history of the Oscars, we've never had this happen. Why? Because people understand that there are rules of conduct, and you conduct yourself in a certain way, or if you find that you're thin-skinned, you shouldn't show up to the event. If you can't handle it, don't get into the fire.
Do we know that were they cops that asked Will to leave, or was it security that asked him to leave?
I believe it was the Academy.
Security.
It was the Oscar. It was the Oscars Association that decided that they wanted to ask him to leave. He decided he wasn't going to do it. So guess what? If you have a disruptive person and you're at your event and you ask them to leave, if you don't leave by our security, then guess what? What are the alternatives? We get the police involved and we say, hey, you know what? We have a situation here that we need you to come and intervene. Come and intervene and, deflect from the situation. That didn't happen. Listen, that incident that happened with Chris Rock, that will live forever.
Of course.
It's going to live forever. So guess what? His kids have to watch what happened to their father. His grandkids have to watch what happened to their grandfather. This will be there forever. So I think it was a black eye for the Oscars. I think it was a black eye for Will Smith. And no matter how much you cry and say that you're a man of peace and love and you just want everybody to love each other, your actions didn't show that you were a man of peace and love, period. So that's my take on the Oscars. But if I was Chris Rock, you wouldn't have smacked me and survived, period. Will Smith would have been, as they would say, he would have been counting the lights. Period.
Yeah, that was because I remember I didn't watch the Oscars. I don't watch the Oscars anymore, but I saw on Twitter like 15 minutes after it happened because I thought it was staged at first.
Listen, I didn't watch the Oscars at all. I'm at a golf range the next day. A friend of mine owns a golf range over in Roseland. Shout out to Jeff Fortunato. And he came in. And he's like, did you see what happened at the Oscars yesterday? And I'm like, dude, what happened at the Oscars? I didn't see anything. And he's like, are you kidding me? You didn't see Chris Rock get slapped by Will Smith? I said, no. He pulls it up on the video. He shows me. I'm stunned. And I'm just going, there are three things that you don't do to a man. One of them is slapping them. That's just disrespectful. Another one is, I'm not going to say it, but you don't tell a man to do certain things to you, and guess what? That is unacceptable. And you don't, you just, certain things you just don't do as a man. I don't think Chris Rock crossed that line because I think he's a comedian. I think he's a genius. I don't think he crossed the line. I just think that it was taken out of context. And if you're thin-skinned, don't show up.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, like, when it happened, I went on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter much, but I went to the news feed. I just typed in Oscars and just seeing all the tweets that were coming through. I've never seen the social media blow up.
Oh, they blew up crazy. Quickly. Whoopi Goldberg, of all people, right? She's defending Will Smith.
She is? What's she saying?
Like, sometimes you just have enough. You're fed up. You can't take it anymore. Guess what? Martin Luther King, right? Hey, sometimes you were fed up. You get hit. You get the dog sick on you. You get the hoses put upon you. But you don't break your character. He never broke character. He said, okay, I'm peaceful. Yeah. I'm going to lead by example. You lead by example. You do not go out of character because something happened, because somebody made fun of your wife. Who have you made fun of in the past that may have taken offense to it but didn't do anything against you? I'm sure Will Smith has made fun of other people, made jokes, and guess what? No one reacted the same way that he did. So he
came up in comedy.
Yeah, exactly. He's a rapper. Conflict? Adversity? Really?
Watch that drink.
Look, I'm in control today. So I will never make the mistake that Will Smith made. He was out of control. I'm in control. So I understand what's around me in my environment. So I don't make mistakes.
Samurai Phil.
What is the purpose of the samurai? To serve and to understand. So, that's the first thing that I want to get out of the way. And, it's been blown up all week. So, yes, I think Will Smith was 100% wrong. And I think that at the end of the day, if you wanted to show an act of contrition, you should have apologized not to the Academy that night, but you should have apologized to the person that you actually assaulted that night. And if you would have done that...
And to all the winners, too. Right, you took away from their spotlight.
I mean, listen, I understand that you took away from their spotlight, but the spotlight that you took away from the most is the man that you assaulted. So, if you're going to apologize, be man enough to apologize to the person that you assaulted. You can sit back and say, I apologize to the Academy, I apologize to all of the other nominees, but who was done the most damage to? Chris Rock.
He should have been arrested.
Now listen, should have been arrested. Like I said, if it were me, you guys know I'm the samurai and I'm all about serving, but I would have served out justice that night, and I would have been justified in doing it. But I don't want to sit here and promote that that violence is okay. I just think that sometimes you have to combat what's coming at you the best way you know how.
I think it just happened too quick. I don't think Chris Rock really processed that he's coming over here to slap me in the face.
I don't know, because the way I interpreted it, the body language that I got from Will Smith when he walked on stage, to me, it looked like an aggressive act. It's like, hey, like when you're a kid and you say, I dare you to knock this stick off my shoulder. Okay, well, guess what? I'm walking over to knock the stick off your shoulder. I'm not walking over to say hello. I'm walking over to knock the stick off your shoulder. I've been trained in martial arts. So to me, when I see something that just looks a little off, my reaction is I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to be that guy that's going to, I'm going to hit you first and I'm going to ask questions later, only because I feel a sense of something's not right. And if it's not right, I'd rather be the one hitting first and then we'll deal with it afterwards. But I don't want to be the guy that sits there, takes it, and everybody's going to question why. Because people are asking, why didn't Chris Rock do anything? Like, you want to question the guy's manhood? I don't know. I mean, he's 135 pounds, soaking wet. Will Smith may be 215, 220 pounds. So, sometimes you evaluate the situation in your brain before you want to react, and you go, my odds don't look great. For me, I don't care if you're 350 pounds. I always look at it as, guess what? I'm going to do what I think is necessary and defend myself and defend my honor. So, it's not always about winning. Winning is not always the first thing that you think about. It's about letting the other person know that they need to give you the respect that you're due. So, that's my take on the Oscars. And, I'd like to know what, everybody that views what we're doing, what you think about it. I mean, your take is just as important as ours, and we'd like to know what the feedback is and what you guys really think. And that's what's important. It's a conversation. It's an open dialogue, and that's what we get out of it. I get a kick when I hear what you guys are thinking, and I get a kick just responding back and forth. It's a great thing.
So what did Whoopi say? Because I didn't see what she said.
Well, she kind of defended Will Smith and said that, sometimes you get tired of people always talking. You get tired of people always saying and defending yourself, and sometimes you snap. Well, sometimes you snap, but what are you snapping at? And is it appropriate to snap? I think it was in this case it was so inappropriate to snap over a comedian making a joke. Well, guess what? Whoopi Goldberg is a comedian. Yeah. I've heard her make jokes doing skits of cripples. Guess what? You're a comedian. Go ahead and do your job. But this wasn't the setting for you to be, if you want to be a man, be a man. You and Chris Rock have a relationship.
We're friends.
Beyond the Oscars. I could go to you and say, Chris, you know what? I didn't appreciate the joke. But I'm coming to you as a man afterwards and say, hey, you know what, man? I know you were doing it because that's your job and you're to make people laugh. But I didn't appreciate the joke. Guess what? That's what a man does.
Yeah, I agree.
What a coward does, a coward makes a public spectacle of a situation because he either knows that the other person is not going to respond, and it's a calculated move. It's calculated. Hey,
Chris Rock could have said something back too. He was about to say something. Listen, he was mouthing something, but he stopped himself.
He could have said, hey, Will Smith smacked the shit out of me, but he didn't smack the guy that was with his wife. He could have said that, and it could have been, that much more damning. It could have been that much more embarrassing to Will Smith and his wife. He chose not to, so he took the high road. And listen, I am all for people taking the high road. So, hey, that was a Hollywood moment, and that's what I have to say about
Hollywood's
that.
getting crazier and crazier.
And listen, Hollywood's getting crazier and crazier, but at the end of the day, do we really care as much about Hollywood as we care about each other and about what what we have going on? I care more about the people that we touch each and every week and the people that view. And please, when you view, make a comment, hit the subscribe button.
Definitely.
We appreciate the fact that you guys take the time out of your busy days to listen and laugh and just have a good time with our presence. Other things that are going on. What's new, Chris? What's new?
Also, too, one thing I want to add on to that. If you guys have any topics or any guests you guys want us to reach out to, also let us know, please. What's new with me? Same old, dude. It's scheduling the podcast, editing the podcast, getting guests on. We secured a nice little podcast for this Monday coming up with some of the St. Peter boys.
Okay. And you know what, guys? Here's the thing. Like today, I wanted to bless you guys, and a good friend of mine, Jersey guy, two-time Pro Bowler,
16 years in the
16 years in the NFL, Delaware College. He's got over 20 picks in the NFL.
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. This guy wasn't a first round, second round draft choice. He was a free agent. So, when you become a free agent, you're one of those guys that have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, and you got to go out there and make everybody realize that, guess what? I belong on the field with the rest of you guys. And my talent wasn't recognized early, but guess what? It's better that it was recognized than not recognized at all. So we had Mike Adams, local Patterson man, young man, still a young man. He was going to be our guest today, and I think you guys would have enjoyed just him talking to you and telling you the stories and, the struggles of success, because he wasn't one of those guys that were drafted, and his why to become an NFL player was his mom. And I believe his mom had passed away just as he was drafted as an unrestricted free agent. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
we'll save that one for when he's on.
We'll save that story for when he's here. And but he's one of the guys that I look up to and I respect. Just he's that type of guy. So other than that, like, the world has been, it's been a whirlwind for me. I have been out and about. I have been talking to everybody. I've met a lot of people that actually watch the podcast, and they tell me that they like it. They think it's funny. They like the directions that we go on because we deflect. And Pauline is phenomenal. Chris, I can't say more than he's a superstar in the making. He's a guy that I expect to see on ABC, CBS, or NBC.
I don't want that.
He's informative, and he's a go-getter. So I enjoy just being a part of this trio. I wouldn't do it without these guys.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate
do it without
that.
these guys.
Appreciate it. But what I was going to say, too, I don't know if I told you, we changed the name of the podcast in recent days. So it was called the Ideal Pauline Podcast, as you know, the IP in the background.
Okay.
But as we expand the podcast and we get more and more guests that they're not really cohesive with the whole weight loss transformation process. So we're going to call it the Ideal Experience.
Wow.
'Cause that's what it is.
I like that. And
The
you know
Ideal
what?
Experience.
The Ideal Experience with Samurai Phil. I like that. I mean, and here's the thing, right? I hope that, we change the name. That's great. But I hope that each and every person that listens will always remember my core value is I care about the people that tuned in when it was the Ideal Pauline and the program for weight loss.
It still is. It's still there.
Because the most important thing is we want to encourage. We want to, make you believe in the person that you are and the person that lives inside that is just yearning to get out. You are the reason that I think we started this podcast, and the reason that I was a part of it to begin with was motivation. And I'm motivation. It's 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and 144 hours a week. I'm all about motivation. If I can help anyone go from 1 to 5, guess what? It's a success story, and that's what I'm here for. So we changed the name, but the core value stays the same. We are all about helping the next person get to where they want to go.
Mm-hmm. And also the goal of the podcast, too, is to bring, obviously we want the best of the best, but we're bringing on professional athletes, professional chefs, trainers, anyone that's perfecting their craft, so to speak, we want to have on and help motivate, our current clients, past clients, and listen, anyone that's trying to do anything.
Anybody that has, that has gone on the journey of Ideal Protein and has had a monumental moment where this is the person that they were, this is the person that they imagined, and this is the person that they became. those are the people that I want to sit across from, because they believed in not just the program, but they believed in the people behind the program, and they believed in the people that helped support them, and they believed in themselves. So those are the people that I want to sit across from, and I want to talk to, and I want to be around, because they motivate me as much as I could ever motivate them. So that's what I believe, and that's what I want to do. So ideal experience. Hey, you will always be remembered for the ideal protein, because that came first and the experience came second. But here we are.
That's right. That's right. And Mom's not here today is because she got invited. All the top ideal protein clinics in the country got a chance to go down to Georgia for the weekend for they call it Super Bowl weekend now.
Oh, wow. And,
to go
and guess what?
mastermind.
And I'm sure Pauline is going to come back with the MVP, of the Super Bowl program. So I'm expecting nothing less than an MVP performance while she's there, because she is inspiration beyond.
Facts.
She is always positive. She is always has a smile on her face, and she lives and breathes the ideal protein
That she
philosophy. So she is the best of the best.
She's a hell of a multitasker as well. She can multitask.
And she can cook.
And she could cook, too.
My God, she can cook. So all I'm telling you is I've experienced it. And I'll say this, not just is she a motivation in herself, she is one of my models, one of my role models, because every time I see her, she's got a smile on her face, and she always has a kind word to say, and she always has something positive to say. But the whole family, I mean, Chris, Nicholas, and Gia. I was gonna say Gianna, but Gia. That's Plaxico's daughter, Gianna. Gia, the whole and I. The whole
gotta have
family is the best of the best. I mean, I wouldn't put myself around anything less. They're the best of the best.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate that.
If there's a totem pole, guess what? They sit on the top.
Back at you. Back at you.
And I appreciate that. Well, you know what? I want to get off the Oscars and all of that stuff. And what I really want to get back to is like Jersey Strong. And Jersey Strong is the St. Peter's Peacocks. That's
a hell of a story.
A amazing, not just a great story. It's Samson. I mean, it's David and Goliath. I mean, let's think about it. David and Goliath. They went up against number one big bad Kentucky, and they slayed the dragon.
It's unheard of.
Then they go and they win again.
Murray State.
And no one could believe it.
But then Purdue.
Then they go and say, you know what? Can David really stand up against Purdue? No one thought it was possible. Why? Purdue's number 3, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Purdue's number 3. Big school, big budget. These little peacocks, like that little peacock on Channel 4, that little peacock, they showed their colors. They came out and they said, you know what? We might not have a quarter or a third or a tenth of the funding that you guys put into your program, but what we have with Jersey Strong, we have Jersey Heart, Jersey Grit, Jersey Tough. We are Jersey all day long. That's what it's about being from Jersey. Like, you might not be the biggest guy, you might not be the fastest guy, but you know what?
You can compete.
You know what fighting is all about. You know what competing is all about. Why? Because the odds have been stacked against you from day one. Big programs are always stacked against you, but you know what? They came out, and I'm so proud of these kids that They may never be in the national spotlight the way that they were for those 3 games. And even though, listen, I said it before they played North Carolina. North Carolina is the big bad boogeyman in the corner. Guess what? He's in the closet, but when he comes out, it's North Carolina. So, if you're the coach at North Carolina, you're sitting back and you're going, hey guys, this is St. Pete's. They beat Kentucky. They beat Murray State. They beat Purdue. Do you want your name on that list? You're either going to show up and show out, or you will be added to the list. North Carolina, I predicted, would win the game only because, at that level, you are recruiting the best of the best. And it's hard to go 4-0 when you're David and you got 4 Goliaths standing in front of you. Beating 1, great. Beating 2, great. Beating 3 is like winning the lotto. Beating 4, it's a tough task.
No, it's
but
so hard.
I take my hat off to Shaheem Holloway, and I say, you know what? You coached your ass off. You made these guys believe that they were unbeatable. You made them believe that they were champions. You made them believe that, even if the odds are stacked against you, you can still go out and accomplish what you set out to do. And so I congratulate him. I congratulate him on his new job. It's a dream.
He's back home.
He's back home. It's a dream come true. And you know what? Here's the thing that warms my heart more than anything, is that some of those guys that were on that St. Peter's team got endorsements. One guy got an endorsement by Buffalo Wild Wings for like $270,000. Guess what? At the beginning of this tournament, did he ever think he would get an endorsement? No. But
you never know what's going to happen. You never know.
This is America, right? This is, rags to riches. And I just hope that we can all look at and appreciate what these kids have done, because these are kids that aren't projected to be in the NBA, right?
No.
That's not where they're projected.
But now it's part of their lives now, what just happened, which is so cool, because like you said, like they didn't expect to get endorsement deals or expect to go this far, and they did. It's the best sports story in history by far.
They did something that was unexpected. I mean, it's almost like the '86 Mets, right? Like, you didn't expect the Mets. The Mets, really? The Mets win the World Series, really? But guess what? Anything is possible when everything hits the right alignment. When the stars are in line, anything is possible, and that's what we believe in. That the impossible is possible if you believe hard enough in it, if you work hard enough in it, you can do it. But you have to believe not just in, for those Peacocks, guess what? It's a five men are on the court at one time. Each person that plays on that team has to believe and trust in the other person. And that's the only way that they were able to do it. They were able to do it as a unit. Individually, you can't get it done. As a unit, you can conquer the world, but as an individual, you just can't. So, Jersey strong Peacocks. Guess what? I love you guys, and I hope whoever takes over as the coach of that team can take you back to where you were. That's it. And some of those kids from that Peacock team may find themselves on the Seton Hall Pirates.
Never know.
I mean, come on.
You never know.
If I were the coach, I'd bring a couple of them with me.
Of course.
So I'm hoping that some of those guys make it over to the Seton Hall Pirates, and if they don't, I wish them nothing but the best of luck in life and the most success that they'll ever reach in their lives. The best. The best.
Again, the best story. I mean, you brought up the '86 Mets. Like, I don't think there's any sports story that compares to this, because like the '86 Mets, they're professional athletes. So I mean,
correct. You expect them to do something, but
they're pros.
But they were the Mets.
Yeah, they're the Mets.
It's like the Jets, right? The Jets won the Super Bowl with Joe Namath. But guess what? Even though they're professional athletes, in certain circumstances, we look at certain teams as not being on the same level as the top-notch
Of
teams
course.
in that profession. So yes, we have you have the '86 Mets, you have the Joe Namath Jets. Those are stories that are that just seem to hit at the right time.
Yeah.
Everything aligned, and guess what? It happened. It hasn't happened since for the Jets or the Mets, but what it's teaching you is that it's possible. It's possible. It's just you have to have the right guys, and they have to come together at the right time, and everybody's got to be on the same page for that moment to be special.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we had. I mean, listen, Jersey City is on fire. They didn't have enough product as far as jerseys, caps, T-shirts. They were sold out.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you? That tells you that, guess what? We're Jersey strong.
Listen, definitely a book in the making. Movie, maybe.
Listen,
Maybe.
Listen, I mean, I don't want to compare it to the Marshall movie because that was tragic.
Different situation.
Complete tragic. But guess what? It was tragic, but it served a purpose because it showed what Marshall was able to do at a particular time.
Yeah.
This is a feel-good movie that I think any director would want to direct.
Of course.
You know.
And you got Doug, who's a character with a mustache. I mean, there's a lot of key elements to the story that just is perfect for a movie. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm just over exaggerating.
Listen, I think maybe. Listen, we're both Jersey strong. So you know what? I'm from Jersey. I'm always gonna promote. I'm always gonna support those that come from Jersey because I think that sometimes we get overlooked. You know, we get overlooked for the athletes that we have produced. We get overlooked for the teams that play in our area. But guess what? Listen, Jersey has been for the Giants, right? And we got a couple Super Bowls of recent history. And the people that play for the teams that are located in Jersey, I think they appreciate it.
Isn't it funny that the New York Giants play in Jersey?
Listen, New York Giants play in Jersey. New York Jets, their facility is in Florham Park, New Jersey. So, I think the biggest thing was that they were New York based from conception.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you can call them New York Giants, you can call them New York Jets,
Mm-hmm.
but in reality, they're New Jersey Giants, New Jersey Jets.
They play in Jersey.
That's who they are. They're Jersey. Will they ever?
And they all live in Jersey.
Most of them do.
Yeah.
Will they ever live up to what we expect of them each and every year? I don't know. I think we're coming into a rough patch with.
Did you like the older stadium or the newer stadium?
I think that I appreciate the old stadium. Appreciate it, but I think the newer stadium is the better facility.
Oh, it's definitely nicer because it's newer. But
I think that it's a better facility. It's a better place for.
it looks awful.
Look, it's a better place for the Jets and the Giants to play.
Yeah.
But I
Are you a Yankee fan?
No.
You're a Met fan?
Yes, I am.
So do you like the old? Do you like the new City Field, or you like Shea Stadium?
I want to go old school, and I'm going to say I like the old stadium.
Sure, yeah.
But when you're a Met fan,
It's hard.
you're like a lovable loser. I mean, let's be honest, lovable loser. Listen, I've met Darryl Strawberry, I've met Doc, and they played a game in '86 that guess what, one for the ages. But the Yankees are the big brother in the city.
Of course.
The Yankees are
The Bronx Bombers.
The Bronx Bombers. The Yankees are, how many titles do they have? How many championships do they have? The Yankees look down at the Mets as though you might not be the baby brother, you're the step brother.
Yeah.
Like we're going to define you by blood. You're not like on the first bloodline. You're the step brother. So I like what the Mets have put in place this year, I think they have a lot of good players. I don't know that the Mets are ready to win yet.
They got the right owner now, though.
They have the right owner, but guess what? George Steinbrenner comes around once in a lifetime.
The father, not the son.
Correct. George, the old
Senior.
George Senior.
The boss.
Right, the boat manufacturer. He's the one that comes along once in a lifetime, and he has Yankee tradition and
Bleeds blue.
The Yankee lore, and that's something that the Mets never had as a identification. They didn't have, when you think of Yankee in pinstripes, you think of guys that are coming onto the field that are all clean-shaven guys. You ain't got nobody, no beards, no mustaches. This is the Yankee way.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of the Mets,
Stripes.
you think of
A
Darryl
mess.
Strawberry, Doc Gooden, Keith Hernandez, what's going on, in the dugout, as opposed to what's going on in the field and what the records are and what the championships are. So, I'm a Met fan from a kid. My brother's a Yankee fan, and he always says, you know what? There are winners and losers. You unfortunately picked the losing team, and I just go, no, they're not losers. They're just a team that they found their way to the victory circle once. They have two victory circles. They've been in the victory circle twice, but they just haven't found their way back there in a long time. And it's going to take the right coach. It's going to take the right players. It's going to take the right attitude.
Yeah, it comes down to the owner. I mean, Steve Cohen, that's the guy you want going to bat for you.
Listen, Steve Cohen's great. It comes down to the players. Owners own, right? Owners own. Players determine the outcomes of the game, and players dictate what goes on in the locker room and outside the locker room on the field. Players do that. So you can have the greatest owner in the world. Listen, I think Leon Hess was a good owner. I just think that he didn't have all of the right players. And I think that listen, the Giants, they have a great organization, and they've had a lot of great owners, players, and they took that mantle and they said, you know what, it means something to us. Not everybody has that. Not every organization is built that way.
Yeah, but going back, because the reason why I brought up the stadiums is because I think knocking down the old Yankee Stadium was the biggest mistake I've ever seen in the history of sports. Because now you have Fenway and you have Wrigley Field, the only two stadiums where Babe Ruth and all the greats have stepped in those boxes.
Right,
the Yankees still had that culture.
It's nostalgia, right? And sometimes organizations want to step out of nostalgia and create new history. Yeah. And I think that's what happened with Yankee Stadium. I think
mistake.
Listen, it might be
nice.
It might be a mistake in some eyes, but I think that sometimes you have to deviate from your normal course. And I think that's what the Yankees did. I think, listen, George Steinbrenner, the guy didn't wake up one morning and, was just this great thinker of baseball and what it could be or what the Yankees could be. This is a guy that planned.
He's a business guy.
So he had a vision, and he had a business plan, and he put it into...
And he executed it precisely.
Put it into play, and he executed it the way he wanted to execute. And guess what? Now you have the Yankees. I don't think, knocking down the old Yankee Stadium takes anything away from the Babe. Why?
Of course it does, because it goes down to the fans. Because you look at the old... Is somebody here?
Yeah, hi.
Hello?
Come on back.
We're on a podcast.
Yeah, what's up?
Hi, come on.
Mom said she's on a plane, someone should be up here.
No, come on.
You want to come on the podcast?
Oh, I don't have that.
Come on.
I don't have that much time for that.
No, you got a few minutes. Come on.
Oh my God, my daughter's
Love to have you.
downstairs. But
Just come on. You put you on for a few minutes. Come on. What is your name?
I'm Beth.
Beth.
Hello, Beth.
Hi.
Nice to meet you, Beth. Come
Nice
on,
to
have
meet
a
you.
seat.
Oh my God.
Come on,
My
come on.
daughter's downstairs. I have 10
Come on, you
minutes.
got 5 minutes. Let's go.
We'll put your
What's up?
microphone on.
Okay, put your
This
mic
is
on.
impromptu.
What were we talking about? The New York Yankees?
We were talking about the Yankees, and Beth Beth stumbled in, and we decided to invite Beth to the podcast.
Hi.
Hello, Beth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm phenomenal today, and even better because you're here. So you are here to, you came by and probably to pick up some things, and we just decided to throw you in the podcast and see what's going on. So what do you do, Beth?
I basically am home with my kids. I
Okay.
do some local advertising
Okay.
to keep myself sharp still.
Okay.
Because I have a background in marketing and sales.
So you're part of like Ideal Protein?
I've been on in the program for a long time, almost 10 years I've started
Fantastic.
the program.
How do you like the program?
Well, I find that the program always works for me. It's hard, hard work, and I know what has to go in, and you have to have the right mindset. And over the years, I've developed a relationship with Pauline and some of her associates, and they do a great job coaching, but they also know when you're ready and when you're not ready, and it's a gentle, coaching.
So it's like it's a team concept, right? Because if you need them to push you in the right direction, and you need to push back so they know what direction to push you in, and then everything comes together, and then you have results, right? So it's like discipline, it's like commitment, it's hard work. And if you have discipline, commitment, hard work, you have consistency. And I think that's what it breeds. It breeds consistency. And what does consistency breed? It breeds results, right? It breeds results. And you are a testament of results. You've been there for 10 years, you're doing a great job, you look phenomenal, fantastic. And it's like a pleasure for me to actually meet some of the people that are on the program, to come in and just to comment on how their experience has been, overall. Because I think no one gets any results by themselves. I don't care who you have kids, right?
Yes, I do.
And
She's
so,
waiting right now.
One's getting her hair done downstairs.
Oh, okay, she's getting her hair, so she's beautifying herself while you're here talking. That's a great
Yes.
thing. So when I say like when you have kids, you take your kids from infancy, right, and you see them crawling, and you see them balancing themselves, and you see them trying to take a step, and you're there to hold them, nurture them, try not to let them fall so that their confidence isn't broken. And then when they take that first step, you're like, oh my God, look at what it's come from to where they are today, right? And then you see them take the second step, and you see them starting to run, and all of a sudden, they're in control. And the only thing you can sit back and say is, I helped, I was a part of it. So you're a active participant in their growth from day one until forever. And that's what I think Ideal Protein is. It's like a nurturing, it's like the birth of a child, and you have to be there to help, to comfort, and to guide them as to where we're going to make mistakes, where we're going to have positive achievements. And you're like your mom. As a coach, you're a mom, because your achievements are my achievements. So that's what I like to hear. I enjoy it.
How would you describe my mom?
Your mom she's honest, she's, personable, she is intuitive, and she also sticks to the science of Ideal Protein, and she doesn't, deviate. She knows, it's a system, and she's able to keep you, in accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, she's also understanding of, circumstances, and knows when to push you a little, when
And when to back off.
So I think, that goes back to being intuitive about your clients and where they are,
Mm-hmm.
and not pushy. And she's obviously, believes in the program, because I've been in sales for my whole life, of working life.
Right.
And so many times you're selling, and it's a business.
Right.
But if you don't believe in what you're selling, no one's going to believe you.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to have conviction. You have to have the ethics, and you have to trust, what you're selling. And she's been doing this for a very long time. So to me, says a lot and gives her a lot of credibility.
Now I have a question for you.
She just got invited to Georgia too. Only the top
Oh,
20
really?
clinics in the country, I think,
wow.
or 30 got down to Georgia. She was one of them. So
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if there was a
Good
top
for her.
clinic.
Pauline
but-
is phenomenal. I mean, listen, if I have to, put my Mount Rushmore, she's on my Mount Rushmore as people that I can look to for positive, something positive that they're going to get out of you, or something positive that they're going to say to you. Pauline does that day in, day out, with a smile all the time. But a question I have for you is, you've been on the program. What was the hardest thing for you what was like your most difficult hurdle to overcome when you joined the program?
So Pauline would, right off the bat say, it's hard for me to give up my workouts. I've always worked out, and exercise is my happy drug.
Okay.
And
Listen, that's a great drug to have, right?
So, it's, I know if I want to be on the program, I have to give up the things that are my, everyday lifestyle, and
Right.
I know what the trade-off is. So one is changing my whole routine, my workouts. The other is socializing and being able to do that without having alcohol and not feeling, the peer pressure to have a drink. Even as an adult, there's peer pressure. And, I'd say those are the hardest things, is the social piece and the exercise piece.
Stars that we look up to. When something, obstacles get in their way, they don't make excuses for the obstacles. They make adjustments, right? And so it's just like you're saying, like you might socially go out and you have to make adjustments for what you can do and what you can't do, because you want to stick to the program and you want to make the program work for you. So you make adjustments, and I think that's a testament to the work that she's put in, because I'm sure that she can help guide you in certain circumstances. And like, guess what, you're in a social environment. Everybody, we all have a tendency to go off the rail, right? I'm going to be the first one to tell you, like, I'm a sweet guy. Like, I love my cookies and candies and things like that. But I'm the first person that'll put a bag of M&Ms in front of me to tempt myself to take them, just to see if my willpower is strong enough to say, you know what, it doesn't benefit me to do it. So, when you say that, these are certain things that you had to overcome, I completely understand them, and that's what makes you who you are. That's what makes you successful at the program. It's a beautiful thing. So I appreciate the fact that you realize the things that are harder to do. And the exercising, I don't get it all the way. I know that with Ideal Protein, like the first couple weeks, you don't exercise and you still lose weight, right?
That is true, and that is the crazy thing. But I would love to elaborate more on
But
this
we know
another
you have to
time.
go pick up your
But
door.
my daughter is calling, and I have school pickup. So on that note, I just want to say that being a busy mom, that Ideal Protein always gave me something that I could control in my life and made me feel confident and organized. So when everything seems like it's all over the place and disarray, and you're running here and you're running there, being that I know what I'm going to eat, when I'm going to eat, and I have those rules in my head, and I feel good, and I feel like I'm loving myself and taking good care of myself. I could give more to my children and to my daily life, and that's what I'm going to go do right now.
Well, guess what?
You said Beth, right? Is your name?
Yes.
We traded Mike Adams for Beth.
We traded.
We had an NFL
we
guy
had an
today.
NFL player
I don't think I could
that you took their place, and guess what?
substitute
You did a phenomenal job. And I'm just going to tell him that we were thinking about put him on the trading blocks for Beth. I mean,
Yeah, Mike's out now.
17-year
I've been trying to get in, but I
Hey, Ma.
wasn't trying to do it right now.
Hi, are you with?
Yes, you're live on the podcast. It's me, Phil, and Beth. Ma,
Help back?
She is speechless.
you're breaking up a little bit.
You help back. I'm waiting. My ride is almost here. I have to go soon.
Yes,
Can you
Beth.
help
Okay.
back?
Beth is on her podcast. Okay, Mom. Sounds good.
Okay.
She's
All right.
speechless.
She's like, I'm speechless.
She's breaking.
Listen,
the phone's
Beth,
breaking up.
Thank
it was
you
a
very
pleasure
much.
to have you, and I hope that you will come back when you have more time, and we can continue this conversation when you have more time. But it has been a pleasure to meet you.
For sure.
Phenomenal.
Phil, I love
Thank
you, Phil.
you.
You're a character.
So listen, that was Beth. She is one of the superstars of Ideal Protein, and she's one of the success stories that we're proud to report on. I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And, as we go along, I hope that we will get more guests that are part of the program that will just come in and share their stories with us and let you guys know that, you know what, it takes work. It's not easy. It takes work. It's a hard job. But once you commit yourself and you dedicate yourself and you figure out that, it takes discipline, it takes a core set of principles that you have to live by, and it takes commitment. And once you get that down, guess what? Consistency is the road to victory. Once you're consistent, you'll start to see that the system works for you. And once it works for you, guess what? It works for everybody. So that's what we want to say. Next week, hopefully, we may have a Super Bowl MVP. One of the few players that have scored a touchdown in both Super Bowls that they participated in, and a guy that doesn't drink, does not curse. I can't say that I do those two things, but you find him interesting. Always got a good word to say about everybody. So hopefully next week we'll get you a New Jersey, New York legend. And I think that will be a great thing for all of us. So let's make it happen. And we will also get back our queen, Pauline. I think she complements the podcast, and I love having her on with us because I don't think I could do it without her and Chris. I would feel like I'm alone and naked without my co-host. I love them to death. So let's see if that works for you guys. And please, give comments. Good or bad, send comments out. Where do you guys hang out? I mean, I'm at Sear House, at Sushi Lounge, at 46 Lounge. Let us know where you guys are at, and you know what? We'll bring the party to you. We also go to Mandira's in Caldwell. So shout out to Mandira's. And you know what? There's a good friend of mine who I play a lot of golf with, and I'm going to just shout him out to McLovin. He gives me a battle every time we go on the golf course, so shout out to McLovin. He's playing golf today, and I passed up the opportunity to play golf with him to come out and do my podcast. So you guys mean that much to me. We didn't know that she was even going to show up, so that was like great that she came in and she shared a little bit of her experience, and I think that it's a testament as to what your mom does. Pauline is a motivator, and she's an innovator, and she believes in what she does, and her clients believe in her, and that's why the system works.
And you can hear what Beth said. I mean, we didn't even plan that.
Oh, listen, out of the blue that was. I enjoyed it. I really enjoy the time that I spend on this podcast. And like I said before, I have an empty seat directly in front of me, and that seat should always be filled with Pauline because she's the matriarch. I mean, I can't do it. I won't do it without her. I won't do it without either one of these. I won't do it without her or Chris. You know what? There will be no Samurai Phil if there is no Chris and Pauline. So, you know, the samurai is to serve. And I serve with a purpose, and I serve with the people that I enjoy and the people that I love. So, you know, this is all about love, and you guys are all about love, and we want each and every one of you guys to be the best that you can be on a day-to-day basis, not just on one day. I want you to be the best that you can be on a day-to-day basis, and try and help out anybody that needs your assistance along the way.
Facts.
Because we can't do it by ourselves.
Can't.
Period.
Can't. I think that's a great great place to end this podcast because I got to run back to the office to do a contract real quick.
And I've got to run, and I don't know where I'm running to, but I'll be running to a place somewhere near you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.